Hello and welcome to A Fast Route to Health Part 2. In this episode, we're going to look at the do's and don'ts of this age-long technique and treatment, which is called fasting. In the first episode, we looked at the benefits and the types of fasts that you could consider. Today, we're looking at the do's and don'ts. So the first thing I'd like you to consider is that maybe do it gradually. Don't launch into a very full and strong fast because you won't feel well. It's better to work into it very slowly and gradually than jumping straight in. That means that you can start with giving up certain foods a day or two before. And this is quite a good thing to do because it gives the body a bit of break and a lead-in time into your fast. And I highly recommend doing this. And the kind of things that you can start doing is just by giving up some of the basic things like meat, dairy, and sugar, and alcohol, for instance, and coffee. So maybe start with a few of those things at the beginning just to get into your fast. And you can do this slowly. You can do it over a week. You don't have to do it all in one go. So you can work into it. In fact, we know that elimination diets can be very, very beneficial. And we've seen studies on this. And one particular study that I want to talk to you about is the one done at Newcastle University, which was done with certain participants coming off sugar and grains. And this was particular to see if it would help their type 2 diabetes. And in fact, most of them were able to cure their diabetes by fundamentally changing the sugars in their diet and going on a calorie restricted diet. So we know that food intake has a big impact on the body. So the next point to consider when you're going into a fast is your medication. If you are on medication, you'll need to continue taking it or talk to your doctor and let him or her know that you are actually going into a fast. The other thing that you want to consider if you do have health issues is to monitor them, particularly if you do suffer from blood sugar issues and your blood sugar level drops. Make sure that you do eat regularly. Even if you're fasting, you can take more liquids or you can have soups. If you're on a juice fast, you can do a juice. So there are ways of managing that much better. I highly recommend that you get supervised during your fast. It's really helpful when you're working with a practitioner that is very familiar with these protocols and is able to guide you and help you through any challenges and difficulties or any side effects that might be as a result of your fast. And they are very well versed in this and know how to handle it. You can find a practitioner in this, or you can find a clinic that is specialized in this area that can help you. The other thing that you need to consider before going into a fast is your mindset. Yes, this is quite critical because the thoughts that come into your mind can have a big impact in how well or how not so well you're going to approach your fast. So I want to address some of these things. And one of the biggest ones is, why do I have to fast? Why do I have to do this protocol? Well, it's because you're going to give it a go and you're going to see whether this treatment has an impact on your health. And that's really taking a very good scientific approach. And not all treatments work with everybody, but they do have some sort of effect. And you need to gauge what effect that is having on your health and the benefits that you're achieving and receiving from this particular protocol. The next thought that I want to address is, I'll get really hungry on this fast. Well, you could, but then you couldn't. In fact, so many people say they don't really feel hungry when they're fasting. And there's certain ways to manage that. And I'll certainly be addressing this when we come to put our plan together. The other thought process that can come in your thinking is, it's going to be hard. It doesn't really have to be hard, and it's only hard because you may think that it's hard because you don't know what you're to expect. If you plan everything well in advance and you know what to expect, then it can be quite easy. And then if anything comes up, you can address it. And if you're certainly working with somebody, then they'll help you to overcome any challenges that you face. And then finally, another thought process can be that I'm really scared, I'm really frightened to do this. And that's quite natural, because you don't know the kind of things to expect from doing this. You don't know what might happen. You're giving up food, which perhaps you've not done before. And there's a lot of various emotions that can come up relating to the journey that you're going to take in your fasting. These are quite common thoughts, and believe it or not, these are quite common thoughts when we try anything new in our life or manage something challenging and sensitive. So it can be done. You can overcome these thoughts, these beliefs, these fears that you may have when you're coming into doing a fast. So in the next episode, I'm going to look at how you can plan a really good fast that's going to suit you, that's going to be sensible, that you lead into it and manage it really well. So I'll see you next time.